This is BarCode, a cocktail-powered podcast that dives deep into the personalities, criminals, and heroes that have come to define security across the globe. Please join our host, Chris Glandon, for another wild foray into the incredible world of humans and how they intertwine with today's modern technology. We hope you enjoy today's episode.
Four, three, two, one.
Activate.
Welcome to BarCode. I'm your host, Chris Glandon, and today we are infiltrating the mind of someone who's been in the depths of OffSec for over 2 decades. Corey LeBleu is a veteran pen tester who's been breaking, bending, and bypassing systems since '04. He started in network testing and social engineering, even pulling off engagements that landed him in handcuffs before zoning in on web apps, where he's disclosed vulnerabilities for Apple and Citrix, ran an OWASP project, and helped shape testing practices at Verizon. Corey, it's good to see you again. Thanks for joining me on BarCode, man.
Hey, good to see you. How's it going?
It's good. It's been a minute. I think the last time we talked was at HackSpaceCon, I guess over a month ago at this point in time.
Yeah, I think it was actually HughesCon.
Oh, it was HughesCon. What did I say? HackSpaceCon? HughesCon.
Yeah.
Got to catch up with you at HughesCon and ran into our buddy Philip Wiley, who's a mutual friend, and you and Philip go back quite a bit.
Yeah, we met at Verizon in like, I guess, 2011 or so. Got a few engagements. One engagement we did a pen test at a big law firm, fancy law firm at Rolls Royce in the parking lot. So there were like 5 of us and doing a pen test. Phil was pretty green and he had a story about wrestling a bear, which I didn't believe. I thought everyone was messing with me.
No, that was my first interaction with Philip. Was I read an article about how he wrestled a bear, and I said, I got to contact this guy and talk to him. So, but no, he's a very good dude.
I thought everyone was messing with me.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude, man. And then he's going to be running, is it Cyber HackCon in Dallas coming up? So I'm looking forward to that. Are you going to try to make that one?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'm in Austin, so I'm not that far away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not far at all. So yeah, like I said, we chatted at HughesCon. We really didn't get into your backstory though, so I would love to hear that if you don't mind. Talk me through that origin story. What got you into hacking, and then how you got specifically more into the offensive security side.
Well, I got into the offensive security side pretty early on. Basically, I went to school got a business degree, and the hot concentration was what they called ISTS, which was kind of like MIS with statistics, few programming classes, a lot of database classes, and just a business curriculum. So I got out of school right around when the bubble burst. I guess that was like 2002. Trouble finding a job at first. Started looking into some certifications and interviewed with somebody, and they were like, yeah, if you think you're hot shit, go for the CCNA. So I went for the CCNA and got that. Got a help desk job while there, got Security Plus. And if you remember old Network World magazine, I ran across an issue of that where a pen tester was talking about it, and he was pictures of him with his laptop next to a pool doing pen tests. So I was like, man, like, that sounds interesting. I got to get into that. So after that, I just pursued that, and really wasn't what it is today. So I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I went around, beating down doors. I went to Atlanta. I went to Houston. Houston, I had somebody tell me even like, there's no market for this here. Like you're wasting your time, which now it's huge. Houston's a big city for it. But then eventually I landed a job actually in Baton Rouge. I knew somebody that knew somebody. So with that job, I started doing mainly network penetration testing, security assessments.
Now, before we get into that, did you talk to me a little bit how you learned pen testing?
Okay.
Did you have, someone to mentor you, or were you pretty much self-taught?
Self-taught. Like I said, I started off with the certifications. The CCNA is kind of how I fell in love with it. First, I graduated with a degree related to computers and was kind of like, yeah, I hate computers. So the CCNA kind of showed me the power of networking, and that's where I kind of got into it. And then, I eventually saw that network world issue. And then
Because
just,
there were no pen testing certs at that time.
no, it was like self-taught.
Okay.
They had the GSEC had come out, by SANS.
Mhm.
So they actually had a book for that by Eric Cole, and it was just tools. It was just like walkthroughs of tools. It wasn't any other content, so I kind of used that. Yeah, and then they had books like the Anti-Hacker Toolkit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you probably remember that. That was
Mhm.
old school.
What was it? Hacking Exposed was my book. Remember
I
that
was
one?
about to say that. Yeah,
Yeah. I know I got at least 7 of them on my bookshelf. I
I
remember
had
one
quite a
time somebody
few.
was at Black Hat signing them, I think. But yeah, that was a big series back then when, you were getting into it. So yeah, so
Yeah,
you were self-taught, you kinda, I guess, learned the ropes. Did you have a mentor at that time?
um, not until kind of my first job. In my
Okay,
first job, I CTO was kind of a mentor.
okay.
Especially for a lot of the social engineering stuff. But a lot of it, I kind of learned the ropes on my own. Kind of a small practice. Initially, it was like the CTO, and there was a technical guy who was really bright. Kind of learned from him, and the practice expanded. And we got a manager who actually knew some of his stuff, so he kind of helped develop it some too. But I was kind of the golden boy for that company for a while, so that was fun. I just kind of had a knack for the network stuff. Everyone else had to run scans, whereas I could just kind of get in there and just they allowed me to mess around and read stuff on my own. But that job involved a lot of travel, probably about 50%. Like I said, it was pen testing, network security assessments, which was vulnerability scanning, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Always do you review physical security and social engineering,
Okay.
which we've talked about my social engineering experience before.
Yeah, so I guess the social engineering piece, that came after your network pen testing.
Same time.
Same time, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that was mainly doing banks and credit unions. Like I said, it was kind of all blended together, the pen testing, the policy reviews, the regulation stuff, et cetera.
Mhm.
But then they'd have us, doing social engineering for small banks and credit unions. And my first one that I did was actually, well, first I'll get into the first. I did some ride-alongs first with that one guy that I said kind of showed me the ropes on. And one job, he saw a stack of vacuum packed money orders, about $8,000 each. Left the location, came back 3 days later, it was still sitting there. So he took it. 2 days go by, we meet with the network admin, hand it over. He's like, wow, he's like this. No one's reported it missing. So he goes into the CFO's office with this stack, you know, $1,000 each vacuum pack. I don't know how much that is, like 25, $50,000.
Probably.
Rage it on the guy's desk, just whap. You
Mm.
could just see the color drain from his face. And after that, we weren't allowed to take anything.
Oh, wow.
So I think there was some definite blowback from that. But my first one that I did was on a credit union on Army base.
Oh, okay.
I think it was an Army base somewhere near Seattle. So that was stressful, trial by fire. First time going in, we would generally dress up as the fire inspector.
Yeah,
So
typically
that
not
way,
where you want to go for your first physical.
no, no, no. And like, this is 2024, so I'm like 24 years old doing it. So I look pretty young for a fire inspector too.
Okay, yeah. So tell me what happened with that one.
So that was, I mean, I don't really remember it. It's kind of a haze. I got in, got out. I think I planned it. I got some stuff,
Hmm.
nothing really too noteworthy other than the fact that it was an army base and I was scared. And, like I figured there are a lot of people with guns on there, but then I kind of found out later that, they kind of control access to weapons on army bases. And maybe I was a little more freaked out than I needed to be. But
Still, I mean, still, that's got to be nerve wracking for you. Just having your first physical. I mean, you could be walking in anywhere and you don't know what to expect.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, I've done some ride-alongs, but that was my first time actually walking in the door. And
Yeah,
I found on every one of those, the hardest part is walking in the door and just kind of psyching yourself up because, like, once you're in there, you're in there. You can't really just turn around and walk out.
yeah. I can imagine like your success rate probably is massively like the chances of you succeeding is probably massively multiplied just from walking in the door. I think a lot of people would just turn around. But I think if you walk in, I mean, at least got a 50% chance of, you know, getting to your,
The physical ones, man, it's so much easier than on the phone. Because on the phone,
uh,
people are suspicious. Like,
interesting.
you walk in, you're wearing a uniform, you act the part, they buy it. And then we would have IDs that we ordered off the internet. Well, we'd have badges that we ordered off the internet. And IDs we'd make ourselves. So my ID was generally my head superimposed on my boss's body, made in Microsoft Word, and it looks horrible. I'll send you a picture to post with this when you post the episode. But one of my bosses even used to like change his to say that he weighed 500 pounds because the secret was you had the ID and the badge and you show it real quick in the billfold. Their eye goes to the badge, then you pull it away before they can look at the ID.
Hmm.
So I never got caught for having a bad ID, even though they look horrible. I mean, it's out of focus, my head on someone else's body.
Hmm.
I mean, they're bad. I have a poster that I made them.
So I want to talk to you about the one instance that you ended up in handcuffs, right? That had to have been scary. So I want to hear about that scenario, and then I want to ask you more of a question around like your methodology.
All right. Well, I mean, this is 20 years ago, so my methodology is probably a little rusty. Um, the handcuffs one was the last one that I went on. We'd had a few incidents, kind of close calls, and then they would kind of revise the get out of jail free card and the legal documents each time. So I was getting nervous. I was starting to look for another job.
Mhm.
So I go into this one place. It was somewhere in Texas. I don't remember. And there's a security guard. So, they check my ID. The security guard's on me. He doesn't bust me, but he's watching me. He's doing his job really well. So I get out of there. I'm pretty relieved because I knew the other was riding me pretty hard. So I'm 15 minutes away, about 5 minutes from the next location. I get a phone call. Yeah, we need you to come back here. I'm like, well, I'm way at this next location. How about I just do this? They're like, no, we need you to come back right now. We've got the fire marshal here. And so I go back and he is pissed. He does not like that I was impersonating a fire inspector. And after probably 5 or 10 minutes, I am in handcuffs. At some point, I am told that I'm under arrest. Get grilled at the location more, and then eventually get put in the back of his car to go to the police station.
Mm.
He's been a real hard ass so far. I mean, like I said, he's pissed that I'm impersonating one of his guys because he just views it as, I'm making his job harder. His guys are there for safety, and I'm making it harder for them to go in and do their job, whatnot.
You have your
So
note on you?
yeah, I have my get out of jail free card. He
Okay.
doesn't care.
Doesn't care. Okay.
The thing is, I don't remember if it was this one or other ones, but I've had the get out of jail free card, and I've had people dispute it, saying, it may have been that one, saying like, "Oh well, we didn't know you were going to this fire inspector." And it's like, I have this sign with your signature that says right here that I'm going in as fire inspector, and they're just blatantly lying, saying that, "Oh, we didn't know that."
Oh, the organization is blatantly lying.
Yes, yes.
Interesting.
Even though I have their signature on the piece of paper on me.
And that's pretty specific. Like, that's pretty specific that that would be written down. Yeah, interesting. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So I get in the back of the car, and I have a guy with me who's doing we generally went in pairs, but I was the one that was going in. So I'm in the back of the car, and the guy finally lets down a little bit. He's getting a little more conversational. He's just like, "Oh, how old are you?" I'm like, "I'm 25 or whatever." "Oh, how much are they paying you for this?" I'm like, 50 a year or something. "Oh, that's pretty good for your age." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Not enough for this, is it?" I'm like, "No, it's not." In my head, I'm like, "That's why I have resumes out right now."
Yeah.
So we
So you
get
can't
there.
have, and that was it. That was the last
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I already had resumes out. I was looking to get out because it made me nervous every time they changed the paperwork. And like social engineering, like it's a thrill, but like after the first 20, the thrill is tapered off a little bit, but the stress is still there.
Mm,
So, you feel like you're getting away with something, but then it's less of that thrill, and it's just still the stress of like, I'm going in here like to a financial institution dressed up.
hmm
I know it's gonna happen. So anyway, we get to the police station, and they stick me in, those rooms that have the kind of cubicle walls, the cubicle material.
the interrogation room?
Not like a real interrogation room, like kind of like in the office parks where they have the
Oh,
crappy.
like booking or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, it was more like they stuck me almost like in an office room, like with
Oh,
with
intake?
the cubicles, how they have like the metal rim with like the cloth on
Oh,
them.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was like a room like that had that for the walls.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So just really makeshift. So they had me in one room, and he called the DA in the other room. So very thin walls. I could hear the DA bitching him out for cuffing me without arresting. Because at some point he said I was under arrest, and then he said, "No, you're not under arrest." So the DA was not happy with that whole situation.
So they let you go on that,
He let me go on.
and then you
And I had prior authorization. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
he was in a chuff because I was in his turf.
yeah. Whatever happened.
Understandable.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, totally understandable. So that was it for you. That was it for your physicals. Did you continue pen testing beyond that?
Um, you mean for that organization or
Yeah.
like
Or yeah, for that organization, or did you end up leaving that organization and going somewhere else? And
for that company? I still did some pen testing, but I was interviewing, and it was left for another company.
right, gotcha.
Similar stuff, yeah.
So leading up to today, you're still pen testing today, correct?
Yeah, so after that job, I went to doing more just network testing,
Okay.
and I would kind of get bored on network tests and start messing around with applications. And that's kind of how I found those 0 days way back when I found a directory traversal, and I think the first version of the Apple web config, the iPhone web configuration utility.
Mm.
So it's like a utility for configuring iPhones for corporate environments. And it had just a standard directory traversal in it. We alerted Apple, gave them like 2 or 3 months to, work with us. Never, or whatever time, never heard back from them. And then they eventually just released a version 2.0, completely rewritten in a different programming.
This was a bug bounty.
This is before they had bug bounties. This was just ethically disclosing it.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so this is probably '07. So it was before they paid you for bugs. Instead, Apple just completely ignored me.
Yeah. Right. That's how they handled it back then.
And yeah, and like I think there's probably more going on with it because I'm able to crash it some too. So there's probably a buffer overflow and a directory traversal. They just didn't answer me and then fixed it silent, leaving
Have
the
you ever
customer base.
pursued bug bounties more since then?
No, I haven't.
No.
I just have kept to the career-based stuff. Um,
Yeah.
at that company, I also found SQL injection in the Citrix utility, and Citrix actually worked with us and got a patch out, so that was good. And so that's kind of how I got my start into the web stuff. And I kind of got to be their in-house expert on app scan, and from there I moved into the web stuff because I was kind of bored with the network stuff. And this was before the true red teaming came out. So I got bored with the network stuff, but like I find that kind of interesting, kind of like evasion and adversarial type stuff. But when it was just smash and grab, it got a little repetitive.
Mm.
So I moved into the application stuff, and the housing market thing happened, got laid off. Started a master's degree, didn't finish it, ended up working for Verizon or getting the GREM, the reverse engineering malware, SAN cert. Started working for Verizon, did mainly web app stuff for them, started doing some network stuff, but got to where I just did all web apps because mainly because I didn't like traveling and I didn't like having to work, at night.
Hmm.
So I did that for a while. Worked for a few other companies like ISC doing software security with them. Came back to Verizon. Um, Eventually left Verizon to manage a practice at a place called Set Solutions. And then from there, I decided that I could do it all on my own and went out on my own.
And that's is that kind of what you're doing today?
So what I'm doing today,
Awesome.
Relic Security, and
Okay.
like before I was delivering everything, like just overseeing delivery, but that doesn't include sales, and sales is something else. It's just a
Mhm.
different mindset.
Yeah. So what do you focus on primarily at Relics? You doing a lot of pen testing, more pen testing
Yeah,
heavy, or are you doing a lot more, I guess,
web
strategic consulting?
application,
More web
web
app. Okay.
application stuff. Yeah.
Got it.
So some pen testing, a few externals here and there, but the vast majority is web app stuff. That's kind of my forte.
So what's happened in the world of web app pen testing today that's different than say a year, 2 years ago?
I don't know, but like one thing I noticed, like earlier, I guess, like maybe further back than that, I could rely on scanners a lot more, whereas now it's a lot more manual, a lot more business logic stuff. Just, it used to be you could find a lot of cross-site scripting vulnerabilities with scanners. Now, even when I find those, half the time it's manual.
Yeah. Ha-
Just a lot of more poking and prodding, less scanning.
Yeah. How has AI helped or hindered you in your web app pen testing efforts?
I haven't. I've only messed with it some. The stuff that I've done with it hasn't been that helpful. Like I've used, like DARP has some integrated stuff, and I've used it to kind of explain things a little better. Like probably would relate it to JavaScript stack trace stuff because my eyes bleed when I try and read that stuff. But haven't used many of the advanced features. I have used like some third party AI stuff, and it's been kind of limited results. Some of it is kind of neat, like, it'll tell me all about the headers and all about this, but stuff that I can, tell looking at it.
Yeah.
Be something that'd be great for a beginner or somebody that doesn't know it, to like be able to analyze traffic and tell you what's going on. But if you know what's going on already, it's just not as useful.
Well, let me ask you that then, in terms of like the beginner standpoint. Like you've really worked hard into getting to where you are. Like you've been in the industry for a long time, and you didn't really have that. I don't want to say AI crutch, but more of an AI crutch, right? Where the beginners coming in now, it's a lot easier for them to just go online and look for an answer and get that answer instantaneously. Do you think that that is an advantage or a disadvantage right now? Do you think that the beginners coming in that are learning this are missing the fundamentals, or do you think that, the fundamentals are changing?
I don't know. I mean, I'd say there's pluses and minuses. Like, I do mainly application stuff, but lately I've been doing internal web or internal pen tests, internal network pen tests.
Hmm.
And it's useful kind of like knowing what questions to ask because, I'm more rusty on the Active Directory type stuff. So I can, knowing pointed questions to ask, it could be a little more useful than Google, like having to read through a whole white paper. But I could also see it kind of limiting if you don't understand the
Yeah.
fundamental concepts.
Yeah. If
But it's
someone,
nice.
oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say it's nice to be like, oh, I have this output from a tool. I want to feed it in Hashcat. Which format do I use?
Yeah.
I used something like that today, so that was kind of nice.
That's helpful. Yeah. What would you, if someone came to you tomorrow or tonight and said, "Look, I'm looking to get into web app pen testing." What would be your guidance? Would you recommend any particular training platforms or certifications that you would be able to direct them to?
For web app stuff specifically, I mean, I would say learn Burp Suite. I
Okay.
mean, they have the WordSwigger Academy. A lot of that's got a lot of free resources that go pretty advanced. So, I mean, I would recommend that. Obviously, for regular pen testing, knowing the fundamentals, and then like the OSCP has always been big for network pen testing.
Mhm.
I actually took that training like in like seven before the certification was anything, so I didn't even bother with the certification. Later, I was kind of like, wow, I wish I'd done that. But
Yeah. You could be helping.
yeah, there are a lot more beginner certifications and training out there than started. It's
Yeah.
a lot cheaper too, because back then, if you wanted to train formal training, you basically had SANs, and that's like
Mhm.
it was less then, but now it's like what, $6,000, $7,000 a course.
Yeah, more than that. I think I've heard up to like 2 grand, or not even that. I think I've heard more than that. I wanna say
And it's
10 grand maybe.
SANs is like last I saw was 6 or 7, so it
Yeah.
could be more, yeah.
That's wild. Um,
But now you can get, like $30 courses or whatever. So I
yeah.
mean that's obviously democratized that a lot.
Are there any online platforms for practical learning? Like, I know Hack the Box, but I don't know if that's all what, like, web app, like, are there any platforms that will help you develop your web app skills?
I haven't messed with the box type platforms that much. I have a little, but like I said, that's Swigger Academy. I would mess with that. That had
Gotcha.
a lot of detailed stuff that gets more advanced than I would even know, honestly.
Yeah.
So like, and they have a certification too. So if somebody got that, I mean, I think that would be very respectable. There's also, there's the web course by the people that do the OSCP. I'm sure that's good too.
Mhm.
Uh, then there's like cheaper courses like the Hacker Mentor, $30.
Got it.
Some of those options. Back whenever I started, we were setting up like doing things like setting up web code. And there's like awesome juice. That was pretty good.
I remember that one. Yeah,
Awesome
it's crazy.
juice. I
I
think
remember
that's
that one.
one.
That
Yeah.
was
So
fun.
my
And that was never even like web app was never even my thing, but I remember just going through classes and learning about that. I'm like, man, this is pretty cool.
the setup for that thing was half of it.
Yes. Yes. So throughout all of your practitioner years and your practitioner experience, is there anything that you would be able to tell someone that's just starting out and sort of give them some either tribal knowledge or give them some unwritten advice that you're not going to learn in a web app pen testing class?
Well, maybe not related just to web app pen testing, but I've dabbled in probably dozens of programming languages, and I would say probably pick one and stick to it, or at least uh, one or variation of one. Like I would recommend Python just for and going just because it's useful for network stuff. You can write burp plugins in it.
Mm,
I've written some burp plugins using Python. The newer interface uses like Java and Kotlin, which I haven't messed with. That supports some new AI features, but Java's kind of its own beast. And Kotlin, I feel like I'd be learning it just for that.
mhm,
But Python, network testing, good for automating stuff. It kind of won out the scripting wars with Ruby way back.
mhm.
And also like I've kind of gotten interested in the AI stuff, and I don't know anything, but I have an interest, and all that's Python.
So how do you develop that interest? Like you're interested in AI, like what would you do personally to sort of build your skills there? And do you build a home lab that sort of incorporates tool sets that you can practice on, or what is your go-to way to develop your skills?
Well, with that, I'm not there yet. I kind of like got an interest, just kind of got a bug up my ass to actually learn how it works. So I've been
Yeah.
reading a lot of theory books and like teaching myself linear algebra,
Wow.
things that I probably don't need. But I want to have that. I want to be able to talk about it more than a black box. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like so many people with AI, it's just magic. But I've started looking into some of the prompt engineering stuff, or prompt injection. There are, some vulnerable environments online. I found like one easily installable app called like Wuzzy, I think, like
Hmm.
WUZZY or ZZI,
Okay.
and played with some tools like Grok, Prompt Foo. Those are kind of interesting. It's going to be
Prompt
a lot of
foo.
money.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a commercial and or they have a free version and a commercial version, but it seemed very promising. I think more of it's geared more not necessarily towards security, but it has a good security piece to it.
Have you
I
ever
think it's
coded
more
at all with any LLMs like Grok versus ChatGPT?
really, I mean, I've like kind of pulled up some Hugging Face stuff just to mess with a little bit, but
Okay.
that's kind of my next step. I'm kind of wanting to learn some of the theory and also kind of learn this library called PyTorch.
I've heard of PyTorch. Very
So
cool.
that's kind of on my to-do list to interface with both, with all that stuff. So I bought a book like how to build an LLM from scratch. And that kind of I bit off more than I could chew. So now I'm reading like 700-page books just on background.
Yeah. That'll take you down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, there's a note. I read two no starch books on AI, and there's like how AI works, which I didn't really like that much. It was kind of like a history of AI, and it just sprinkled in the technical stuff. And it was difficult reading. But then they had a behemoth of a book that was like yay thick called Deep Learning. That book is awesome.
Hmm.
The Deep Learning, a visual guide. So it's like diagrams of how all that stuff works.
Do you find yourself personally learning more via books, or are you more of a visual learner? Or is it a mix?
Probably more books, makes a mix. Like I was talking about learning that that linear algebra stuff. Like there's a YouTube
No
channel
visual for
called
that, is there? I can't imagine.
there's a YouTube channel called LeBleu One Brown, and they touch on linear algebra, calculus, basic deep learning theory, and I mean it's awesome.
Hmm.
I can't stress how awesome it is. And they have, some of the best little snippets. It's like, oh, this is how deep learning or LLMs work. And it's like 12 minutes. And it's like, yeah,
Did I
I
lose you?
read 400 pages to get that knowledge. Yeah.
What was the name of that YouTube channel again, just so I can write it down?
3 blue, 1 brown.
3 blue, 1
Like they're,
brown. Okay.
yeah, like their leader is like an I, and like 3/4 of it's blue and 1/4 is brown.
Got it. Cool, man. That sounds pretty cool. I'm a visual guy, so even when you take, like, complex concepts like that and you can break it down super simple and show me how it breaks down, then that
He does all animations for all of it.
okay, nice, nice. You have to check that out.
It's the coolest thing I've seen in a while. I love that channel.
Yeah. So when you're not on YouTube or listening to Philip's podcast or BarCode podcast, or what do you like to do on your downtime?
Got a few kids that keeps me pretty busy. I like lifting weights. Kind of Phil's kind of mentored me on some of that stuff. Phil is a power lifter.
Yes. Did you used to power lift as well?
Nah, I mean, I've followed kind of powerlifting routines, but
Okay.
never competed or anything. I'm just an amateur, just kind of a aficionado.
Very cool. I see a nice record collection behind you. Are you I assume that you're a record collector or you're into music?
Yep, love it. Mainly collect punk records. Got all that. And got like a big old thing of them on the ground too that I need to do something with.
So like punk, you said punk records. So like what era are we talking?
Pretty much all of it, from the Stooges and the MC5 to stuff.
Nice, nice. Who's your favorite band, would you say?
I don't know. For a while, I'd probably say Bad Religion, but I'm a little burnt out on them. I don't know. They are one of the best.
Yeah. When you listen to them too much though, you can't help. I think that's with any band. Do you listen
Yeah.
to I guess like where do you go record shopping? Do you still like going into stores and going through records and things like that? Does that still exist by you?
Yeah, we got a few good shops by here. I haven't been in a while. They have a big one called Waterloo Records, and they have it's good for newer records, but there's a smaller shop called In the Veneer
Hmm.
here in Austin, and that's my favorite. And they have more used stuff and just harder to find stuff. And I know the owners. They're just really cool guys. It's just a really cool shop.
Yeah, there's nothing like walking into a record shop. I miss them. Being able to go records, tapes, CDs, whatever it is, just going in somewhere and, looking for what you want, you know,
Yeah, flipping through the crates,
flipping through the
that
crates.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool, man. So how do you like living in Austin? You've been there for a while?
Yeah, I like it. 2009, I think, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, Austin's cool. I kind of lived in a hipper, more in the city for a while whenever I had an apartment, but then got married, had kids, moved out to the suburbs. You know,
Yeah, you can't live
couldn't afford living in the city.
in Yeah. I've been to Austin once and walked down 6th Street in the daytime, and it was off the chains. I can't imagine what 6th Street is like at night. I do wanna go back though, just to experience that, but I assume as a local, you don't go down that direction too often.
Not as much. There's some clubs on some adjacent streets though,
Mm.
like there's street that intersects with it called Red River. They have some clubs.
Oh, that's cool. I hear the live music scene in Austin is really good.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I don't really get to get out as much, having two young kids, but
Hmm.
like on that Red River, they have like this club Mohawk that's pretty cool, and it's like a larger club and has outdoor and two-story, and it's just like for as big as it is, the sound is really good.
That's cool.
So how sometimes big places that have outdoors, just the sound sounds like shit.
What's out of all of your traveling, what's the coolest like bar or even if it's like a music venue, what's the coolest or most unique that you remember walking into?
I don't know. I mean, I remember like I think there was one called Star Bar in Atlanta that was pretty cool. I'm not sure if I actually was there for business or not.
All right, well, I just heard last call here, Corey. You got time for one more?
Sure.
All right. If you decided to open up a cybersecurity themed bar, or let's say cybersecurity themed club, what would the name be and what would your signature drink be?
I think we discussed this previously. Something like get out jail free and like the fake ID.
Yep. The fake ID. I love it. That's funny because get out of jail free. It's like,
Get too drunk, you still get out of jail free.
yeah. Yeah. You'll have people walking in just on the name alone. All right, Corey. Well, thanks so much, man, for taking the time and chatting with me. For those that want to connect with you online, where can they reach you? Are you on LinkedIn, X?
Yeah, I'm LinkedIn, the best place. Also, relicsecurity.com. That's RELIX security.com. But LinkedIn's a good place.
Okay, sounds good, man. Holidays are coming up, so I wish you and your family a very happy holidays, and hopefully I'll see you in the new year at Dallas at some point or Austin, maybe Sixth Street.
Sounds
Who knows?
good. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Corey. Take care.